Well, today's the day. The story of Dodge, the wolf dog. Come on, let's go. He's the same age as what Dodge would be now. They became very good friends. They were born on the same year. Good friends with Dodge, weren't you, mate? So basically this was Dodge's life down here at the yard. Let me take you where I used to take you for a walk. Come on. So nearly every day I used to take him for a walk all the way down here. Just to come out here, to go to the fields. There's the farm, the horse yard, and the goats. Today, Dodge was murdered, and this is the story. Goes on down there, there's about another 5 fields all across there. I used to always like sitting up here for 5 or 10 minutes with Dodge. Just look across the countryside. So let's start the year off, 2022. I lost my father in February, and then come April we lost our home due to the pandemic, COVID. So come that day we had to leave. I ended up going to somebody had reached out to me on Facebook saying that I could stay at their place. I didn't really know them, so I just went for it, and I slept on his couch for about a week. And then a good friend of mine reached out to me. He saw that I was homeless through Facebook, and he said, "Dan, I've got a massive garage you and Dodge can come and stay in." So we went and stayed there. Here in the UK last year, it was we had extremely hot weather. It was so hot last year. Although I was taking Dodge to work with me, I couldn't keep him in the car. Days that I did leave him there in the garage, it was just too hot. Anyway, the lady that we got Dodge off of, she was actually the breeder of Dodge, reached out to my wife Marie and said, "I've heard what's going on. If I can help in any way, I'm quite happy to take Dodge in." She's got a massive kennels. She's got about 70 dogs that she was looking after. First off, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I was adamant, I'm not going to do this. But as it got hotter and hotter, I had to, for Dodge's sake, So I ended up taking him there. And it's really strange because when I first got there and I got Dodge out of the car, I had this awful, I wouldn't say awful, but I had this intuition, overwhelming feeling of dread. I've never felt anything quite like that before. Not to that extent. Anyway, I carried on. I ignored my intuition, which I shouldn't have done. And I left him there. That evening, I got back to the garage. I did a TikTok live. While I was doing my live, I was explaining what was going on to all my followers. And a woman that I didn't know, she said to me, "Where you took Dodge isn't in Lincolnshire, anywhere in Lincolnshire, is it?" And I went, "Yeah, why?" And she automatically messaged me back saying, "Dan, just go and get him now. You need to go and get him now or tomorrow," because it was quite late in the evening. And I just brushed it off. I spoke to my wife, and my wife said, "Sam and Rachel have got, they don't see eye to eye." And I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. So, you know. So I carried on. I stayed there. I was missing Dodge like crazy. Anyway, I went and got him back about a month and a half later, which was absolutely amazing. Because I went to my mum's house. Before I got him back, I went to my mum's house, which was about just over an hour's drive from where I worked. My mum wasn't very well. I visited her over the weekend, and while I was there, she said to me, "You ever thought about just staying here? Why don't you stay here for the week and see how it goes travelling to and from work?" So I did, and it worked out. It actually worked out. I thought, you know what, it's better than living in a garage. So I stayed put. After a couple of weeks, me and my mum decided between us that I could go and get Dodge, which was absolutely amazing. So I ended up going to get Dodge. Me and my wife ended up going to get Dodge. He was with us for about a month, and my mum wasn't very well anyway. My mum's quite frail anyway. We just lost my dad that year. My mum's a dog lover anyway. And I could see my mum wanted him there, but a wolf dog being a wolf dog, and my mum 80 years old, quite fragile person, she wasn't quite coping. I could see it, so I contacted Rachel again once more, and I took Dodge back there the second time, which completely broke my heart. I really didn't want to do that. Anyway, about 4 or 5 weeks into him being at the kennels, a Sunday evening came, and I got a text from Rachel saying, "I'm really sorry, Dan. Dodge has bitten me." And I'm like, what? I couldn't quite get my head around it. I'm off to hospital. So this is the evening. I'm off to hospital, Dan. He's bitten me on the back, he's bitten me on the arm. Her husband had to pull Dodge off of her. And I'm really sorry, I'm gonna have to call the vets out. I'm thinking, right, okay, in my mind I'm thinking, right, okay, if he's obviously bitten you, then yeah, I'm gonna have to think about having him put down. But that's my decision, not yours. So I've texted her back saying, please don't do anything just yet. We'll come and get him. We'll come and see what's going on. And then I get a phone call from one of her friends. I can't remember what the conversation was about now. So the next morning come, and I said, right, when do you want us to come down there? Still not knowing what had happened to Dodge, still not knowing whether he was dead or alive. So I text her in the morning, got nothing back. So I text her in the afternoon, thinking, what's going on? I want to pick up my dog. What's going on? Saying, look, we've got a 2-hour drive here. We're gonna have to get going. We can be there in a couple of hours. So I think I texted her saying, we're leaving now. So we left without a text back. And I got a text back while I was driving, roughly about 5 o'clock, saying, come and pick Dodge up at 7 o'clock in the evening. And I'm thinking, why 7 o'clock in the evening? Marie's thinking, why 7 o'clock in the evening? Anyway, we get there, and we were a couple of hours or an hour and a half before we were supposed to be there. So we decided to go and get something to eat, as you do. Waited around the local town, and we decided, sod it, we're going to go a little bit early. So we left to go a little bit early. It was only 10 minutes drive down the road from there. And as we're driving up there, as we were about to pull into her road, she's living out in the middle of nowhere, and as we were about to drive into her road, there's a van there, which I went first, and they followed. And Marie went, I'm sure that's her van. And I looked in my wing mirror and I said, well, it's slowing down now and it's pulled over to the other side of the road. Are you sure? She goes, I'm sure that was her van. Anyway, we pulled into her driveway. Her husband or boyfriend was there, looking all, he had his phone in his hand and he was standing by some gates with his head down. And we thought, what's going on here? Something's going on. You know that horrible dread feeling again? I had that. And lo and behold, she drives in with 3 of her friends in a van. And I'm thinking, I thought she was meant to be at hospital. Or she was at hospital all night, and that's right, and she told us that she had been in bed all day. Oh, he's bitten me so bad. I've had to stay in bed all day. Anyway, she's driven in 3 in the van. We're like, what the hell is going on here? We sat in the van, in my van for about 10 minutes. We got out of the van and stood there. Lo and behold, her door opens. She's standing there in her dressing gown and slippers. Come on in, guys. Sorry, I've been in bed all day. And we're like, what? What? We've just seen you stupid. Then, sorry, Dan, I had to do it. Well, you didn't get my permission to do it. So, you shouldn't have done it. By law, you shouldn't have done it. If that was a child and you'd put stuff in the child's food and left it to die overnight outside on a cold floor, you'd be in prison now. Just because it's a dog. That was my child. That was my child. My boy. Not yours. Not your decision. And if he had have bitten you, I would have probably had him put down, yes, but that would have been my choice and we could have said goodbye. I had to do it, Dan. I had to do it. This is where, although she told me in a text message, she'd been bitten all down here. She'd bitten on her back. She'd been bitten under her arm. She showed us, and we were expecting something like, oh my God, this is going to look awful. There wasn't anything on her arm. She showed us there was nothing on her arm. There was a little scratch here that could have happened anywhere. And, well, I didn't really see anything on her back. She had like a little patch thing on it, just like a little sticker thing on her back or whatever. And it just had a bit of so-called blood sitting there, kind of. I mean, me and Marie kind of looked at each other to say, what? He ain't really done anything then, has he? So what has gone on? What happened? But she basically put some, I can't remember the name of it, but it's she'd actually called the vets out and got this poor vet, this old boy that was in retirement, to come out and put stuff into his food. She told him that it was her dog, and we had given Dodge to her because we didn't want him anymore. And he put some stuff in his food late at night, and apparently it got to about 10 o'clock and Dodge hadn't gone by this time, so he went home. As a vet, you're not allowed to go home. You've got to stay with the dog and put the injection in. So they left him on a floor as his organs are all slowly stopping over 12 hours at night. And the vet told us he came back in the morning to check and did what he had to do. But when we got him back, there was no marks, you know, where they take the hair off and then stick the needle in to finish them off or whatever. There wasn't any of that. That was all still there. The hair was there. It didn't look like it had been injected. So there's lots of questions. Anyway, I've made a Facebook group called Justice for Dodge because I want to find out, and I will find out what's happened. And the reason why she didn't want us to go there till 7 o'clock in the evening, we found out that she had been to a dog show all day, showing dogs, since about 7 o'clock in the morning. I thought you were in hospital because Dodge had badly hurt you, badly bitten you. So we've made this Justice for Dodge page. And lo and behold, there's all these people that have come out of the woodwork. She stole my dog. She hits dogs. She beats them with shovels. She doesn't feed her dogs very well. She doesn't give them water very much. She doesn't look after her kennels very much. And actually, when I was there, as I took Dodge into the kennel, I actually said, shall I go and get his bed in? Because I want him to have his bed in. You know, our smells, my smell. No need for that. So I was like, what? Okay, so I took him into where he's going to be staying. And it's a bloody crate with holes in it, with a bit of hay on it. Not much hay at that either, because you could still see the crate. And I tripped up on the crate as I went in there. And then I looked at the water. This is why I shouldn't have taken him. I looked at the water and the water was almost green. Why didn't I listen to myself? Myself was telling me. So, all these people have come out of the woodwork. And I've even found out that you've shot dogs. What kind of person can stand there and shoot dogs? Go to dog shows, and carry on like life's normal for you. And then all her TikToks are all about, I'm the one that's got all the drama. As within, so shall you see what's outside. Now the farmer's coming. So I don't know how you can live with yourself, and I don't know how you're getting away with what you're getting away with, because you seem to be getting away with it all the time. You always seem to get away with it. Woeeth me. Not anymore, because I'm having my story get out there. Please share this story everywhere so we can have Justice for Dodge. Facebook page, look it up, Justice for Dodge. People like her cannot get away with things that they do behind closed doors. If it was a young child you'd be in prison. Just because it's a dog doesn't make any difference. Time is now. You know what you did, and you know it was wrong. Rest in peace, Dodge. I love you, mate.